I'm back, I'm Gertie Rude. Back again, I'm in a mood. Well, I'm in a thirsty mood. Day before Friday, which always puts me in a damn good mood. But this Friday, they break up for half term, don't they, Fooers? Yes, so we've got a half term holiday next week. And all things Halloweeny, you know. And we do like a bit of Halloweeny, don't we? Now, I thought I'd bring you this. I don't know whether any of you guys have seen this. It was Piers Morgan on his Uncensored talking to Bassam Yousef, who is an Egyptian-born comedian, #/ TV presenter based in America, whose wife is a Palestinian from Gaza, whose family live in Gaza. And he performs satire, I'll have you know. And my channel isn't about... It's so painful what's going on over there. I don't really want to get into all that blah, 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 because to be fair, to put it in context, I think anybody harming anybody is bang out of bleeding order. And I don't have to be Meghan Markle to come out and make a statement about we stand with this and that. I stand with all the bleeding victims. It's just a hot mess, isn't it? But I thought what I'd do is underline a bit of satire, because he performs it so well, you know. And poor old Piers, he doesn't know whether he's coming or bleeding going. He doesn't, FoodTube, he doesn't. Poor old Piers. And yeah, the guy is very prescient. And he's, fervent. I think is a word, maybe it is. Could be a word, I'm not sure. Is it a word? Come on then. Come on, Bassam.
Very repetitive. We're used to that. We're used to them being bombed every time and moving from one place to the other. It's just like those Palestinians, they're very dramatic. Israel killing us. Yeah. But they never die. I mean, they always come back. You know, they're very difficult to kill, very difficult people to kill. I know, because I'm married to one. I tried many times, couldn't kill him.
When I first watched this...
There's a dark humour.
Oh, yeah, shut up, Piers. He's a satirist. When I first watched it, I just couldn't stop laughing. I mean, the thing is, he gets his point across, because everybody in this situation has got a point of view. I'm sure each and every one of you at home has got a point of view. What is it they say? Opinions are like a-holes, aren't they? Everyone's got one. And his opinion is as valid as anybody else. And he's got a platform, and he's performing some par excellence, in my opinion. Sorry, I've knocked you. Sorry if you've got all queasy. Par excellence satire. And I thought we'd perusal it together. Come on, Bassam. You're a bit of bleeding genius, aren't you? Yes, you are. Go on, mate.
Why?
He's very visual.
Human. I try to get to her every time, but she uses our kids as human shields. I can never take her out.
Again, I understand the humour, but to be serious,
well, you
Bassam,
don't. He's
about
doing
this.
satire, Piers.
Tonight,
I will be serious. Now, I will be serious. I was watching your interview with Ben Shapiro, and I'll tell you one thing.
Oh, excuse the dog barking in the background, sorry.
He's one of the smartest people who ever walked this earth. He's very, very smart.
He is smart. Ben Shapiro is hot. He's really smart guy.
And when he came on your show, his solution was, and I quote, his solution was that the solution for this is for Israel to annex Gaza and to kill as many son of bitches as possible to make sure that this will never happen again. And anyone who called for a ceasefire will be a terrorist sympathizer. So God forbid, I don't want to be labeled as a terrorist sympathizer. So I agree with Ben Shapiro. I think we should kill as many son of bitches as possible.
Well, let me,
so
okay.
far,
but Bassam,
so far 3,500 people were killed, including 5,000 son of bitches in the bombing of the Baptist hospital as we speak right now. 1/3 of those 3,500 were children. So my question to Ben Shapiro is, how many more son of bitches do we need to kill so Ben Shapiro is happy? Okay. Because it changes
Bassam,
from 1 year.
It changes
from one... I'm sorry. Please listen to that.
I really think it's gone over Piers' head that he's actually performing satire. And, I mean, it's his opinion.
I'm really at a disadvantage here.
Go on,
I'm
Bassam.
looking at the camera. I don't see you. I can hear you on my ears.
The reason I'm interrupting is I think you might be. I think you're conflating different interviews with Ben Shapiro. He didn't use the phrase "sons of bitches" with me. Let me play to you what he actually said on my show.
He did. Go back to your interview.
No, he didn't. That was another interview. But let me play what he...
He did, and yeah, if you check, he did. But yeah, it's just rhetoric, isn't it? Oh, Piers, he's got a short memory, hasn't he, and a big ego. Go on, Piers.
Well, frankly, I don't believe in proportionate response to terrorism. I believe that the way that you stop terrorism is with wildly disproportionate response. That doesn't mean in terms of targeting civilians. It means in terms of killing as many terrorists as humanly possible and allowing them to dictate the terms of engagement by hiding behind civilians.
Might point out that Ben isn't performing satire.
In areas that they are supposedly responsible for means that the only option for Israel is to surrender to Hamas's hatred of its own citizens, its willingness to use its own children as human shields. No country worth its salt could ever do that.
Now, that is substantively different to what you said he said, right? He's talking there
but
specifically about Hamas.
That clip was, but he did say that, yeah.
With him. I agree. I agree with him. The thing is, the question is, what is a proportionate response? Because it has been different from one tier to another. So if you look to this graph, for example, this is the death of Israeli and Palestinians, and it's changing from 1 year to year. It's like fluctuating like crypto. So my question is today, what is the going rate today for human life? I mean, 2014 was a great year for Ben Shapiro. 88 Israelis were died, and there was 2,329 Palestinians killed on the other side. That is one Israeli for 27 Palestinians. That is a very good exchange rate. What I'm saying is, what is the exchange rate for today? So you guys will be happy. That's my question.
Well, it's not me, guys. I'm not on either side.
No, not you. Like when I say you guys, I say like the people on the other side of that. I know that you don't think like that, Peter. You're one of the good guys. But let me tell you something. I mean, the reason that I'm using this is that, I mean, I can't remember what happened in 2014, and there was no music festival. But there must be something. I mean, they must do something. It is their fault. It has to be something. I mean, 2018, 300 Palestinians died. Who's counting? You know. So the thing is, what my question is, let's find what is the exchange rate for human life today, so we expect the future death of Palestinians, and we'll be happy to it.
My response to that would be this, Bassam. I thought carefully about this.
He's very visual, isn't he, old Bassam? Very visual, performative.
Like to immerse ourselves into a conflict where we're not directly involved. And I thought carefully about what I feel about this. I feel that the
we don't care what you feel,
of what
Piers.
Hamas did on October the 7th supersedes anything else I've seen in this conflict, really ever. The savagery, the butchery, the slaughter of 1,300 people, the shooting of babies.
See his emotive narrative. We all know what happened. It seems to be... Yes, I'm not going to comment either way because it's a bleeding shoot show, isn't it, really? It's a whole load of, as I said, a hot mess. Come on, Piers. Keep saying words.
If we can agree on that, which I think is inarguable, then the question then becomes, again, about proportion. I don't disagree that there's been a lot of bad stuff on both sides going back historically for decades. But if we agree that this was on a different level altogether, quite deliberately by Hamas, designed to provoke. No, here's my question. Let me ask you a question. And the question was, you raised it earlier about proportion. I honestly don't know what the proportionate response is. I honestly don't. I
so
don't.
if you don't, why are you talking?
What's your question?
Well, I would ask you, if you were Israel.
Yes.
What would you? If I was Israel.
If you were Israel and that had happened to you.
Yes.
What would you think would be the appropriate way for the country to respond?
Well, he's an Arab and he sees it from his point of view.
I would do exactly like Israel did, kill as many people as possible since the world is letting me do it. I mean, I can do it because I can, you know. But the thing is, you know what? I agree with you. And you know what? I'm going to be even ahead of you because I see the question coming. Do you condemn Hamas for the atrocity? Yes, I condemn Hamas. I condemn Hamas. Hamas is the source of all evil. They're the reason for everything. And you know what? Let's, for a minute, imagine a world without Hamas.
Right.
What will this world look like? Let's give this word a name. Let's name this word the West Bank.
Yes.
Hamas has absolutely no control of the West Bank. And this is the beginning of this year. Only through August, 37 Palestinian kids were killed. No music festival, no paragliding.
For context, I expect you know, but the West Bank is administered by Jordan, whereas Gaza is administered by Egypt, and they've shut the border, haven't they? So yes, very clever. Come on, Bassam.
No Hamas. Since the occupation of the West Bank, 7,000 Palestinians were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas. I can go on and on and on and on.
No, but you don't need to, because in a way you're preaching to the choir. I've followed this crisis.
Oh no, you're not preaching. So the thing is, like,
in the sense that I know that what you're saying has validity. Of course.
Piers. By the way, Piers. I am at a disadvantage here. I can hear you. I cannot see you. I am in a claustrophobic room, and so please cut me some slack and don't interrupt me and interrupt my point.
Sure.
So, because this has to be fair.
Understand.
Because if you want to only hear your opinion, I can just condemn Hamas and go home. I can do that. So do you want to do that, or do you have a much more nuanced?
He's making a point on because he's Arab. It's sort of goes without saying that he's required to condemn the terrorist organisation just as much as Catholics condemning the IRA.
No, I absolutely want to nuanced conversation.
Dear.
I wasn't aware I was interrupting.
He's performing satire. Let him get on with it.
I mean, I would say I really applaud Israel for doing one thing that no military force in the world does. Because I heard Ben Shapiro and I heard Ron DeSantis, and they said Israel is the only military force in the world that warns civilians before bombing them. I mean, how fucking cute. That is so nice of them. Because with this logic,
dear, you gotta laugh.
Russian troops started warning
If you didn't laugh, you'd
Ukrainians
cry.
before bombing their houses. We're cool with Putin, right? I mean, okay, Habibi, you have warned them. Go.
Fair
or
point.
invade. It's fine. You have done your job.
Touche, fair point. Well made, Bassam. Well made.
I mean, the thing is, and I understand, and I also heard Ben Shapiro talking about Human Shield. So you remember my wife's family? They live in Gaza. So I asked them. I told them, when Israel gives you the nice warning, the cute warning, does Hamas force you to stay in your home so you can be bombed and use as human shield? You know what? Hassan, my wife's cousin, he's a loser. You know, he told me. You know, when I asked him, does that happen? He told me, no. The lying son of a bitch lied to me. I told him, you don't understand. Ben Shapiro and Ron DeSantis keep saying that Israel warned you and Hamas asked you to stay put. So I told you, he's a loser. He never kept a job. He even failed in all of the interviews to become like a human shield. I would believe Ben Shapiro.
Let me ask you this,
So let's go with that. No. Let me ask you
At some
this.
point, I must be able to ask you questions. It's not.
He's a performative blimmin' satirist, and he's just having a laugh. But he's making quite a few salient points that the world doesn't get to hear. And it's like in most comedy, there's got to be a sort of sting of humour in it somewhere, hasn't there? Yes, literally, which obviously there is. And also there has to be a certain ring of truth. So there you go. Come on, Bassam.
If we agree that for the 14,000 casualties, I mean, who's counting, are human shield, does that mean that every single one of those civilians was standing, obscuring a military target behind them? Because that's a lot of weapons. I mean, Hamas is packing.
No, of course it doesn't. and look,
Hamas is packing.
So there's some collateral damage. Lots of collateral damage.
Yes.
It's fine, yeah. You kill some to save some and then kill some more. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Again, it comes back to proportionate response. When the world decided it had to get rid of ISIS because of the appalling butchery they were carrying out.
Oh, God.
It did so by also killing.
Aren't they all one of the same
sadly,
ISIS,
a lot of civilians along the way by doing airstrikes against places which
But civilians are
ISIS
inevitable.
fighters.
You
So
said that in the beginning.
My point is,
it's inevitable.
Yeah, but once
It's inevitable.
Israel
Different
has
cheeks for the
decided
same arse.
that they want to get rid of Hamas, and Hamas is embedded with civilian population, I'm very concerned about what's going to happen next. I've written a column tonight saying, remember the Iraq war, which I opposed, right?
Piers has written a column, everybody.
I know.
What would you think would be an appropriate response by Israel to what happened?
Well, these are years of disproportionate responses of Israel.
Right.
Did it solve the solution? Did it solve the problem? Did it work before? So it will. Or what will be the surprise this time? What will be the twist that will make this work this time? What? What will be different this time? Seriously, I mean, this is only the last 15 years. I mean, because it's too many papers. I just got this. But how will this be different? And the thing is, I am so glad in the introduction that you mentioned.
I'll stop it one more time. He makes some really good points that have occurred to me, but I expect it's occurred to you guys as well. But he's just going to, because the media is conducting the narrative at the moment. And yeah, so I think the one Arab voice is coming through, dressed as a comedian, really.
In the Iraq war, I applaud you, Piers, for saying that. Because
dressed
you were
up
honest
as a
about
comedian, rather.
You said that spreading lies, like WMDs, made people look at those people as less of humans,
of mass
and they would
destruction.
accept the death of 1 million Iraqi, whether by sanctions
agree.
or by invasion, right? You are a good man. This is amazing. And you know what is similar? Is when you spread the lies of 40 decapitated babies, although it was refuted.
Yes.
So what happens when people hear that, killing babies is horrible. But when you say decapitated 40 babies, you are planting a certain image.
Who has said
certain
that?
trigger in
You
people's
did,
minds.
Piers, darling.
Who said that?
You
Who
did,
has said
darling.
40
Who has said that? Who has said
that?
40 decapitated?
You
Who
did.
has said
You
that?
have repeat.
No, I haven't.
Yes.
What? I've never said that.
You haven't said on your show 40 decapitated
No.
babies?
If you go back to the very night before his interview, he was interviewing somebody from Israel. He said that, but he's denying he said it, but he did, because I've checked.
Never.
Ben Shapiro didn't say it?
No.
Ron DeSantis didn't say
Nobody
it?
has said
Okay,
No, they
nobody said it?
You're not helping.
Oh, okay, maybe I am wrong. Decapitated. Here's the
You're wrong.
thing.
I've never said
the
that.
Thing, what
See,
happened...
you see, there's a lot of people making a lot of money out of this, and obviously the media industry makes a hell of a lot of content out of this. So, yeah, they haven't really got a dog in the game of being, considered in their remarks and their narrative at all, have they? And, poor old Bassam. Go on, Bassam.
No, you're wrong. But the thing is, the same thing is happening in Iraq. Ben Shapiro once tweeted, not even about Gaza, about the West Bank, when Israel continued to build the illegal settlement. He said, 2017, Israel likes to build things, and Arabs, not Palestine, not Hamas, Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage.
Yeah, I thought that was very
The Israeli defense minister, he said, those are human animals. And the thing is, Ben Shapiro should know better, because, long before the Holocaust, before Jewish people were thrown in the gas chambers, the Nazi propaganda called them rats. Now, as a human being, I will never accept that another human being being thrown into a gas chamber, but a rat, kill a 10, kill 1,000, 3,500. They are son of a bitch. They are human animals who live in open sewage and decapitate babies. And because of that propaganda, Mr. Morgan, that guy in Illinois, the 71 years old guy, he killed, stabbing the 6 years old Palestinian in Illinois 26 times. And he used to play with him. They used to be friends. But he went in, marching into their apartment, stabbing his mother and killing him, shouting, all Muslims could die.
Yeah.
It took you 80 years to change one word from Jewish to Muslim. And then you transferred your guilt to us and took away our land.
Bassam, let me ask you a question.
That guilt sucks, man.
Let me ask you a question.
How
do we get from where we are now to peace?
Move you along a bit.
Well, first of all, you need to change the perception. Nikki Haley, the American presidential candidate, said, we are in Israel in this because it's a fight between good and evil. Now, if you already decided someone is good, he can do no evil.
Yeah.
And if you decided someone is evil, it's good to kill them.
You can't
Killing
do no
them
good,
is
can they, if they're evil?
You see, the thing is, it is not like something new. I mean, I look at history and I see, I'm sorry to say this, but Westerners has always dealt like this with indigenous people. You first treated them like savages, Native American, First Nation, Aboriginal. They're savages. Kill all the savages. And then when they're almost extinct, you start feeling sorry for them, like animals. So maybe the solution is that we kill as many Palestinians as possible, so the few of them that remains do not bother you. And
You
maybe
keep
Netanyahu, when he
about
lives
as if-
for another
Bassam,
100
let me
years,
just challenge
he'll
you on
become a tree hugger.
Let me just challenge you on this.
And he would campaign
All right, listen.
for
Oh dear, I've lost you. Sorry. Let me change this. Sorry, I'm losing my mind there. Right, come on.
You keep talking about Westerners like me.
He's performing
Okay, let me
satire.
return the
He's just
favour,
let him say his piece.
Hamas is dedicated to the complete eradication.
He's not talking about
of Jewish
Hamas.
people.
I am not the spokesman for Hamas.
I'm not saying
Yamani.
you are.
Why do you get...
I'm not saying you
I'm not
are.
the spokesman.
He's
You're
racist
talking-
because he's an
hate them.
Arab. You
Bassam,
think,
What
oh,
Hamas?
Hamas.
From Hamas.
No,
Are
no.
you happy?
You're missing my point. You're talking in a generalized way about
Yes.
people in the West who always talk about Arabs as savages.
No,
I
we
don't.
don't.
No, I'm talking
I never
about
have.
America. About
I actually
Western
led the
media. I'm talking
campaign.
about West.
I led the media campaign
listen,
in this
when-
country against the Iraq war.
Yeah, but we're not
Okay,
talking
so
about you,
I don't
Piers.
see-
Egomaniac.
I don't
You
see
are one
people
of
in
the
the
good
Middle
ones,
East as
Piers.
savages.
You
But what I
are
would
one
say
of
is,
the good ones.
but what I would say
am not
is-
talking about you. You're great.
no, it's not about me
You're
being great.
amazing.
It's
We
about,
love you.
It's
Wallah.
about the way Hamas behaved on October the 7th.
Oh, Bassam, I love
like
you,
savages,
mate.
like a pack of savages. It was the worst atrocity against Jewish people
Yes.
since the Holocaust. There has to be,
Of course.
there has to be a response. So my
They should
question
be
is,
eradicated.
my question
He reminds me of an Arab version of Jackie Mason. If any of you remember Jackie Mason, he was an absolutely brilliant stand-up comedian. But yeah, go on, come on, Bassam.
Until the last
Oh,
one
Piers
of them.
really doesn't realise
what
it's
is the
satire.
proportionate response?
But I don't know. But there's no Hamas in the West Bank, and they're still dying there. So what's your excuse?
I don't have any excuse.
Okay, what's your explanation? Sorry, my earpiece went down.
Listen, I don't make any pretense that this hasn't been a massive problem.
Okay,
between Palestine and Israel going back to the mid-40s. We all know this, right?
Piers. Listen, I'm not saying that you're making excuse, but if you are adopting a certain point of view, you have to at least defend it. I'm telling you, there is no Hamas in the West Bank. What is the excuse? Not your excuse. What is the excuse to kill those people?
Well, listen, this question of proportionality.
It's very visual, isn't it?
No, answer my question.
It's so visual.
I've been answering your question. You answer mine.
It's actually not my job to answer your questions. It's not.
Okay, not your job.
not.
I agree with you.
I'm more
It is
interested
not
in
your
you,
job.
who has family in Gaza, who's an Egyptian
I'll tell you
in the
I'll
Middle
tell you
East, right? I'm more interested in what you have to say.
But he's speaking,
Okay,
let him speak.
I'm telling you.
He's telling you his point of
Hamas is
view.
the problem, okay?
Right.
Now, let's
And we're
say
agreed.
Hamas is removed. Let's Hamas. I'm agreeing with everything about it. You want me to condemn Hamas? I will condemn Hamas.
It goes into a clown routine in a minute.
Guys, so wait.
I would venture to say there's
Okay,
absolutely
yeah,
nothing
the,
wrong with his hearing
earpiece.
aid at all.
Damn. Okay.
It's part of his performance. He's just been a clown.
Okay.
Because it's disarming when you clown around.
I do need.
disarmed him.
Let's go back. Is he there?
Go back. You go.
Can you
go
hear
back? Okay. Go. Thank you, guys.
Bassam is in
Yeah,
control
now
of
I
the
can hear.
interview,
Okay.
not
So
his.
here's the thing. Can you hear? Okay. So Isaac, let's say for example Hamas ceased to exist. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hamas ceased to exist today. Now, right now, in Palestine, in
Yes.
West Bank and Gaza, 20% of Palestinians go through Israeli prison system, whether imprisonment, whether interrogation, whether torture, and the rest of them they live a life of daily loss of land, of homes, of life, and they are suffocated by this. So let me ask you something: if you are a Palestinian living into these conditions for decades, would you sympathize with your oppressor, or sympathize with the people who claim they resist them even if they are terrorists?
Yes.
I have made no secret that I think the conditions Palestinians have had to exist under.
Because, when you think of the situation in Ireland, the IRA very much aphided on the back of the Catholics, didn't they? So, like he just said, if you've been done wrong by the Protestants or maybe the British Army, maybe you'd be more inclined to turn towards the IRA. And even if you didn't, you were just like a Catholic, wanted to live your own life. They were still in control of you very much. So, yes, he's making a very salient point. Go on, Bassam.
Are completely unacceptable. I've said that for years. So the question then becomes, how do you forge peace between two warring parts of that region who for decades have approached peace, in my view, with mutual sledgehammers, with no actual desire to have peace? And I think it comes
Come on,
down in the
Bassam.
end to great leadership. And I don't think there's great leadership. I don't think, well, hang on, let me make my point. I don't think there's great leadership on either side. Where is the Nelson Mandela?
Oh, dearie me.
To come through all this.
Foot in mouth moment.
Nelson Mandela?
Yeah, where is that
Nelson
figure?
Mandela...
He condemned
Nelson
Israel.
Mandela actually have criticized Israel for being a horrible state. All of the South African
I know.
activists have actually...
My point is...
No, you don't.
My
If you
point is
did, you
about
wouldn't have said it.
How he responded to a country that
Why don't you
was
say,
so
where's the Jerry
divided
Adams?
Is a
I don't know. I haven't-
is a template for how you get to peace, isn't it?
I haven't met Nelson Mandela, so I wouldn't know. But there's a point. There's a very important point here. I want to understand what is the logic of Israel carpet bombing Gaza. I mean, if there's a logic, if this will make Israel safe, I want to hear the logic. So if they continue bombing, what are they hoping to achieve?
Well, I think we know what their stated aim is. Their stated aim.
He's getting towards a very, very prescient point. Yes, YouTube. Yes.
Is to eradicate.
Oh, do
wipe
be
out
quiet,
Hamas.
Piers.
They believe Hamas are living predominantly in northern Gaza. They also are aware they're living amongst civilians.
God.
So it's an incredibly difficult thing. As
So-
I said in my
so
monologue,
basically-
it is very, very difficult to see how they do this without massive collateral damage.
So if I can understand this correctly, basically Israel is doing this to pressure the Palestinian community in Gaza to turn against Hamas. Is that right?
I'm sure that's part of it, yes.
That's part of it. So this is
doesn't work.
exactly what terrorist organizations do, because terrorist organizations will have no chance beating a whole nation in battle. So they terrorize and they kill the civilians in order to spread fear and terror so they can turn against their government to change their policy or to resign. You have just compared Israel with ISIS.
No, I haven't. I don't see any comparison between
It's going to be the headlines tomorrow. Israel is ISIS.
Only amongst people who weren't listening. The comparison
we were listening,
more
Piers.
apposite is ISIS and Hamas. They are both nihilistic terror groups
absolutely.
intent on killing as many Jewish people and others as they can possibly kill.
Oh dear.
And
You know what?
you can't get peace with people like that.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm going to do something that nobody done on your television. You know what I'm going to do? On your episode. I'm going to pretend that I'm an Israeli citizen. I'm going to put myself in the place of an Israeli settler in the kibbutz. And I want to speak to my Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, I have voted for you because you have promised us peace and prosperity and security. On the 7th of October, those son of bitches Hamas, they went into the fence that is regularly heavily guarded. Usually if there's like a dove that comes close to it, it will be shot. Those people went in and they went for 6 hours before IDF forces was deployed, killing our friends, our families.
Very clever. Very clever. And a very well-made point as well. Yes. Good point, well made, sir.
Kidnapping our grandmothers and babies.
Yes.
And went in. I want to ask you, Mr. Prime Minister, after you have fractured the Israeli community and you have fucked our courts, our Supreme Courts, what are you doing with the money being given to you, to the United States? Also, you are carpet bombing Gaza with absolutely no regard to our hostages, our people. I heard a rumor in the kibbutz that you're doing that you let that happen as an excuse to carpet bomb Gaza, so you push them into Sinai. And I didn't believe it. I said, not my prime minister. He can never do that. And then I watched an interview for Danny Ayalon. He was your chief advisor. He was also the Israeli ambassador to the United States. And you know what he said, Mr. Prime Minister? He said that the solution for those Palestinians is to go into a vast land of Sinai and live into tent cities temporarily, wink wink, until we build Gaza again, and then we invite you back. يعني عبط احنا بقى. يعني فاهمني؟ We've seen this movie before. So يعني أنا
There we go. I'm not going to bore you with any more of it, but that is a point of view worth considering, isn't it? And in my opinion, pretty well performed by good old Bassam. And please don't unsubscribe just because I haven't made a political point. I'm more about the comedy and trying to get a different angle and trying to see, you know, if a Jewish comedian wants to come forward, I'd review him as well. It'd be fantastic. As I say, I love all comedians, and I just think he was doing an act, bless him, and he was making quite a few salient points for what it's worth. But I mean, apart from that, it's a terrible situation. I do try not to think of it through two foes. It's so horrible. Oh, bless them all. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there for today. Bye-bye now.